All right, back here with In the Marbles. Now we're going to get into our top 5 drivers who did not, in our opinion, make an impact in NASCAR. And this is going to be a fun list. This is one of those things we're just filling until the time. And I know a few episodes ago I said we'd do an IndyCar season preview, but Preston, I don't know enough about IndyCar right now to make educated guesses and stuff and just be educated guesses and all that. We did the big 2, Formula 1 and NASCAR for us, but
I know nothing on IndyCar. I watched one race last year, and that was while I was at the station working on a shift.
I would sound like a fool if I went ahead and said, oh, yeah, this is our season predictions. This is exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, no, not right now.
I'm worried about this next segment because I think you have a lot of stats over there, and I don't.
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of stats. Of course, I did my homework, man.
See, I just had to wing it again because I'm always busy. I just never have time to think straight.
Well, I'll tell you how this is going to work. So throughout my almost 20 years of watching NASCAR right now, there have been a lot of drivers come and go. Mm-hmm. And these drivers just either were in bad equipment, didn't do so hot. They weren't right up there with the best in NASCAR. We're talking the Dale Earnhardts, the Jeff Gordons, the Jimmy Johnsons. They weren't up there, or they just ran into a stream of bad luck.
Okay. I can, mine's kind of like that. My whole, how could you say it? My span of fandom of NASCAR, which is middle to late 90s, I would say, when I kind of started watching.
Right.
But my drivers, I went out and looked up this afternoon, and I picked some drivers out that are like, people will probably will know kind of with popularity. Like, I can't just go out there and find drivers that like nobody's ever heard of.
Oh no, I went out there and found drivers that either you know or you don't.
So mine is kind of like that, and mine's just like drivers that I thought not so much didn't cut it, just they kind of ran into bad luck. And I swear if anybody says that I missed Paul Menard on my list, I'm going to be unhappy about that. Because I know I was talking to you about it before.
See, Paul Menard at least won one race.
Well, these guys, a couple of these guys did win some races. They won more than just one race.
Oh, no. These drivers...
you found drivers that didn't have a win.
My drivers, and you'll see throughout the course of it, my drivers consist of stuff that they did not win, they did not do well, nothing happened. It was just one of those things where, oh man. And you wait till you see. So I'll start.
Now I wonder if I'm even going to know any of these drivers.
I think you will know these drivers. I think you'll know these drivers just based on their names and a little bit of, history of knowing the sport here. What's so funny?
High Low Sports said Travis Quapple.
Oh no, he wasn't on my list there. High Low.
Wow, they went really deep on that one.
He wasn't, but I know Travis Quapple, but he didn't make my list. My first driver from Georgia, raced for Petty Enterprises when I started watching NASCAR in 2001. Buckshot Jones. You remember that name?
I've heard of the name, just never saw him race.
Buckshot Jones. This poor guy.
He was racing for Petty Enterprises?
He raced for Petty Enterprises in 2001, and I believe the 44 car.
Wait, the Cup Series?
In the Cup Series. He's been racing in the Cup Series. His first start was in 1997 in the Napa 500 in Atlanta.
I watched the 2001 Daytona 500. I don't remember Buckshot Jones.
He was in the 2001 Daytona 500, Preston. But, wait
Yikes.
for this. So, over the course of 7 years that he raced in the Cup Series, he attempted 77 races. He did not qualify for 21 of them, which equates to a 27% did not qualify rate. In the 56 races he did race, he had an average finish of 31.4. His best finish of 8th came in Dover in 1998, and his last race was in the 2003 EA Sports 500. Pop quiz to you and everybody listening. Who won the 2003 EA Sports 500?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask where it was. 2003.
Well, okay. Now do you know where it was?
It sounds like Talladega.
Okay, it was Talladega. My goodness.
2003.
2003 EA Sports 500.
What team was it?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You got to give me a team at least.
I'm not going to give you a team. Think of who was dominant. Okay.
Dominant?
Yeah.
Oh, Dale Jr.
You're like you're as bad as Caroline saying Jeff Gordon. No, it's not always Jeff Gordon.
2003 though. That sounds about right.
2003 EA Sports 500. Does anybody know out there, or does Preston know? Obviously, Preston's stalling here.
Nobody's commenting yet. Oh, High Low Sports says Dale Jarrett.
No, it wasn't Dale Jarrett. Everybody
2003.
But see, now
man.
everybody's streaming.
Is this
can
the
just
spring race?
This is the fall race.
Oh, that's right. Because the 499 was in the spring, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm gonna have. I don't know. I'm gonna have to throw a towel on this one. I don't. Wait. See, when you say "come on, man," I feel like I should know it.
You should.
Is it a popular driver? Can I ask for some kind of hint?
Napa.
Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip.
And
I can't believe I missed
And he tried
that.
out the hood flap thing after the race.
Oh, he did. Oh.
And that was only his. That was the only time in his career he won 2 races. He won the 2003 Daytona 500, and towards the end of the season, he won the EA Sports 500. That was the race where ErnieSadler.
Oh, down the backstretch.
Yep,
and
down the
he,
backstretch.
I remember now. And he went, wee.
Yep.
And the car went that way, and he landed on the roof, I think it was.
Yep. He landed on the roof, tops and turbos around turn 2 and 3. So I'm going to go switch it over to you. Who's your number 1 driver that we have here?
Juan Pablo Montoya.
Now, why, man? Because he's won races. He won, I think, Sonoma and Watkins Glen.
Hang on, because I'm going to get there.
He wasn't a bad driver.
He had 2 wins in his Cup Series career.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's somebody that just didn't really cut it. I mean, he's kind of like with like Marcos Ambrose, just somebody that I didn't like. It's cool that he's there.
He was a road course racer,
but he racing full time. He just couldn't really cut it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's more of a road course racer. Hence why he raced in like Formula One.
Well, here's the thing about Juan Pablo Montoya.
And I'm not going to go and say I'm basing it off of that accident at Daytona where he ran into the jet drive, because that was an accident. Something broke, but I remember a lot of people saying, "Oh, he can't drive." No, that's not it. Okay.
Right.
I know people are going to bring that up for sure.
Right.
But that was legit an accident. And I tried to explain that for days after to people, and people were like, "Oh, he just can't drive." I'm just like, you know what? Why am I even explaining things to you at this point?
That was a long day, but so here's my rebuttal against that.
Okay.
Juan Pablo Montoya is an all-around good driver. He's kind of like the Tony Stewart, not as popular as Tony Stewart, not as accomplished as Tony Stewart, but he does have an Indy 500, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Victory.
Well, I'm just saying in NASCAR in general.
He's won in Formula One. He's won in all 3 series that he's raced in, the big 3, Formula One, NASCAR, and IndyCar. Mm-hmm. You see, in my list...
I'm just saying in NASCAR in general, though. Yeah, at least for him.
Well, even him, he's won races.
Yeah.
He's accomplished something, and he's left a legacy. Whether it's the jet dryer or not, he's left a legacy. And I must say, in 2007, my dad, uncle, and myself went to a race in Charlotte. It was grateful for my dad. He had a bunch of Juan Pablo Montoya stuff on there, and well, they hated Jeff Gordon more than they hated Juan Pablo.
My dad was a Juan Pablo Montoya fan.
Juan Pablo was a good driver, man.
I'm not hating on that guy. I just
driver,
felt he didn't really do that great in NASCAR.
The only driver that I've seen win or race in Formula One, Indy, and NASCAR, I've seen him race in all 3 series. You can't take it away from him. He's a good driver. He's a good guy.
Somehow this is going to get to him, and I'm going to get a lot of hate mail from him probably.
Somehow I feel like this is just going to be a big debate episode. Why that driver shouldn't be on your list and why my driver shouldn't be on my list.
I just tried to pick out some people that people would know also, and I just felt that I'm not hating. I just don't think he really cut it very well in NASCAR.
No, Buckshot Jones didn't cut it in NASCAR. Juan Pablo Montoya won a couple of races. I'm just going to say that.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here for, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. Not debates, but
controversy.
Thank you. I'm here for controversy.
Fair enough, Preston. Okay, well, my number 2 driver, I don't know if you'll remember this name. I don't know if anybody watching our live stream will remember this name. Andy Houston.
Andy Houston. That kind of sounds familiar too,
okay.
But I've heard a lot of names.
From Hickory, North Carolina, 2 years. 2 years in the Cup Series.
Uh-oh.
First race was in the 2000 Pepsi 400 at Michigan, and his last race came in the 2001 Protection 1 400 at Kansas. Attempted 30 races, failed to qualify in 8 of them. Again, a 27% did not qualify rate. And he raced in 2001. This is where I mainly remember him for PPI Motorsports with McDonald's as the main sponsor. Bill Elliott went from that team, the 94 car, I think it was just a private charter, to Ray Evernham to drive the 9 Dodge. Mm-hmm. McDonald's went with Andy Houston, a rookie.
Bold move, Cotton.
Well, guess what? McDonald's in late 2001 pulled their sponsorship because he failed to qualify for races and he didn't even show up for half of them. Needless to say, Andy Houston did not race again since late 2001, and now is a spotter as of 2000, as of last season, for Cole Custer in the Cup Series.
Wow.
And that's my number 2 one. Andy Houston, one of those guys when I first started racing, it was like, I could pull for this guy. Well, it didn't last long because I couldn't pull for him much longer.
You're doing way better than I am right now.
Oh, I remember these drivers from
It's not even that. It's just you've pulled drivers that are just, I wouldn't
Awful.
say okay, I would
Awful.
say awful, but
Poor drivers. These guys go up there with the dream of winning NASCAR races, lifting championships, getting kissed by the trophy girls. And what do? They either wreck or don't qualify. Wait till you hear number 3. This poor guy. Holy cow.
Oh, do I need to go next? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you need to go next.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were reading number 3 already.
Oh, no. I can't wait to hear.
I'm disappointed at what I'm doing here.
Because Juan Pablo Montoya, to me, was a okay driver in NASCAR.
Okay, well, like I said, I kind of... You really, like, went way over...
Well, that's
I
what
wouldn't say
do.
overboard. You did really good. I didn't... Not so much. My next driver raced in the Cup Series for 15 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah. 489 races. Casey Mears. Somebody that I'm going to say this. I felt disappointed with the way his career played out.
Yeah. But he raced
The 2007 Coke 600 win? Fantastic.
Again,
But
a driver.
I'm looking at his best points finish ever in 15 seasons, 14th. And that was in 2006. Just
See, the drivers you picked at least broke the top 20. My drivers barely broke the top 40. That's all I'm saying right now.
he had one win, 51 top 10s in the Cup Series.
51 top 10s. That's not a bad.
It's not bad, but I just felt. I mean, I don't know what the title does. I mean, we were saying that drivers that just didn't really cut it. I would say didn't cut it, didn't do so hot. People I remember.
Right.
So, Casey Mears. I would love to hear your rebuttal, though. Go ahead, go ahead and send it.
Here's the thing about Casey Mears. First of all, he was one of the first drivers I ever got an autograph from when he was racing for Chip Ganassi in 2003 in Atlanta. Him and Jamie McMurray, I got an autograph from first. So, okay, cool. But I must say this about Casey Mears. He's not on my list because I went for drivers who just flopped. Who just straight up flopped in NASCAR.
Okay.
And Casey Mears, to me, son of an IndyCar driver, a big name. Mears is a big name in IndyCar like Petty is to NASCAR. Mears is to IndyCar.
You're making me feel really bad right
Well,
now, man.
you're the one who made your list. I didn't pick your list. I made my own list. But I tell you what, Casey Mears, to me, was not a flop in NASCAR. He just didn't get the breaks he did. And you can make the rebuttal against my guys who...
I don't know a whole lot about your guys so far, honestly.
They didn't get the breaks they wanted. But Casey Mears, to me, was fun to watch. A good driver. I mean, what do you say, 51 top 10s? He knew how to race. Over how many years did he race?
15.
15 years in the Cup Series. Okay, so that's maybe...
I feel like if we were to put it out there, who agrees with whose list, I feel like everybody would agree with your list.
Yeah, everybody,
and they'd
of
be
course.
like, who's that joke of a clown Preston over there?
No. Well, if anything, you do it to yourself, buddy.
Well, hey, I'm here for the entertainment also.
That's right. You got to entertain the people so they can stick around. But at the same time, dear goodness, we go live our one time and everybody's all, oh my goodness.
Everybody probably loves me, to be honest, at least on the live.
Hey man, you got to have fun. You got to have fun. This is why we do the podcast. You got to have fun and talk about your passion. But Casey Mears, I'm going to say that's a big no for me.
Okay.
But
so I'm 0 for 2.
But it's your list. It's your list.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's what we're here for. That's the great dynamics that we have.
It's true. That is the great dynamic that
We're
we have.
a duo, but we can split it down the line.
It's true.
I don't know why I'm doing that, but
I don't know either. Again,
it wasn't even a line.
We're live streaming, so everything's changed in your mentality right now. I've never seen you like this in 70 episodes. I've never seen you like this.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Well, we might have to just limit the amount of people watching us. We sound great in post, but man, doing it live, holy cow. Okay, so my number 3 driver, born in Roxborough, North Carolina, 7 years in the Cup Series, 100 attempts for a race, did not qualify 74% of the time.
Ooh, my goodness.
74% of the time did not qualify.
Where did you find these guys at? Did you just go in and say...
I remember these guys.
You remember these guys?
I remember these guys. It's like, man, I want this guy to do well. Oh, man, he did not qualify. His average finish of 38.6 in those 26 races that he did qualify for. First race at the 2000 NBNA 400 at Dover. Last race at the 2017 First Data 500 in Martinsville. Six attempts at the Daytona 500. 6 did not qualify for the Daytona 500. Carl Long. You remember that name?
I do remember Carl Long now.
Now, see, that's a name on the list. It's like, that poor guy. His claim to fame for me, I think it was 2004. I want to say 2004, where he flipped at Rockingham. Mm-hmm. He was an independent team owner. He flipped at Rockingham, and a lot of people sent him donations and money to help out with the team and stuff, because that was the only car he had. It was just one of those things where he got into Bobby Labonte and flipped. I think it was 2004. But I remember that, and that's kind of what cemented him in my head right there with Carl Long for that. That was my number 3, man.
Okay.
So I'm curious now.
You worry me.
So far, you're on a streak where you're not really calling out bad drivers and those who just sunk. You're calling out drivers who at least floated for a while and kept their head above water.
Yeah, my list is not that.
So who's your number 3 driver?
Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip was my first favorite driver, and I'm going to defend this one. I'll go ahead and tell you his stats. 4 career wins, 2 Daytona 500s. 2 Daytona 500s. You don't even have to block that.
I mean, yeah, Daytona, I understand.
1 Pepsi 400 there at Daytona, and the 2003 EA Sports 500. Yes, all restrictor plate races, all with DEI in that number 15 Napa Chevy. But let me tell you something. A journeyman driver by 463 starts, he shouldn't even been in NASCAR and Winston Cup racing until Dale Earnhardt took a shot at him in that expansion DEI team. And he won the first time out there with DEI. And let me tell you something, Michael Waltrip, though not a champion, 2-time Daytona 500 winner, nobody else on my list has won 2 Daytona 500s. Juan Pablo Montoya never won a Daytona 500, and neither has Casey Mears won a Daytona 500. Michael Waltrip won 2 Daytona 500s. One was rain shortened, I'll give you that. But at the same time, Michael Waltrip should not be on that list.
I came up with a list that I remembered growing up, and I'm not saying I would never be. I'm not saying I was never a fan of Michael Waltrip. I just didn't think he really cut it for that long in the Cup Series. Sorry, man.
No, he was a good all-around driver. No, he didn't win any championships, but at the same time, he was a good driver in the Cup Series. And I think he should be. I don't think he's going to be voted in the Hall of Fame anytime soon. Absolutely not. In fact, I don't even think Dale Jr. should have been in the Hall of Fame this year. But that's another topic for another day.
We got really heated about that one before.
But at the same time, Michael Waltrip won races, 2 Daytona 500s, 2 Super Bowls. It's pretty much like winning 2 Super Bowls and not winning anything else. Because, again, nobody on my list and nobody thus far on your list besides Michael Waltrip has a Daytona 500 trophy, let alone 2 Daytona 500 trophies. So that's all I'm saying, man. I think that was a bad call. I think that was a bad call right there.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm still going to leave him on the list, though.
I mean, you can leave him on the list all you want, but I think that's a poorly executed list.
I just tried to come up with drivers that I remember watching. And I never was. I'm not saying that. Like I said, I'm not saying I wasn't fond of him. I just didn't think he really cut it in his time in the Cup Series. Yes, 2 Daytona 500 wins, but
that's huge.
It is huge, but the restrictor plates.
Yeah, the restrictor plate races, but he still won 2 Daytona 500s, 3 times at Daytona total, and a Talladega race.
I'll think on it.
You won't think on it. You won't think on it.
Matt secretly wants to come across this table and just choke.
I'm not going to. No, man, that's your opinion. I mean, whatever. I mean, I picked drivers who just sunk.
Yeah, when you approached me about the idea, I couldn't think of anybody that just sunk. I kind of took it as, maybe people that I remember growing up watching. So that's what I kind of based mine on. See,
when I say people who pretty much you couldn't cut it, I say those drivers that's on my list. Not ones who won 2 Daytona 500s. But hey, it's your list. You can do whatever you want, Preston. Holy cow. All right. Number 4 for me. From Emporia, Virginia, the older brother of ErnieSadler, ErnieSadler.
That's a good one.
66 races in 12 years. Attempted 118 races with a did not qualify rate of 44%. His first race was in the 96 Miller 500 at Dover, and his last race was at the 2018 First Data 500 in Martinsville. Average finish of 35.
Wow.
So, needless to say, ErnieSadler did a great job, and I tell you, man, if ErnieSadler is on your list, I'm going to be pretty upset about that.
ErnieSadler on my list?
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm just going to be pretty upset about that, but
No,
ErnieSadler, just one of those guys who couldn't really get with a good team and get up there with his brother like, you know, maybe Ward Burden and Jeff Burden did and got with decent teams there, or Darrell Waltrip and Michael Waltrip. You know, it just didn't really happen like that. And ErnieSadler made my list as number 4, and it's just unfortunate because I think he could have been something big in NASCAR. I think he would have done very well in NASCAR. It's just one of those things where he just didn't do it, man. Just couldn't get it done.
Okay.
And that's my number 4. So who's your number 4? I'm dying to hear.
Are you ready for this one?
No, I'm not, but go ahead.
Robbie Gordon.
He's got a couple wins on road courses. I think he won in Sonoma, and he definitely won in New Hampshire in 2001, beating Jeff Gordon. Mm-hmm. And then I think his last win was Sonoma or Watkins Glen. It was a road course. Watkins Glen. Mm-hmm. And I think the Richard Childress car, but he wasn't a bad driver.
I'm not saying he was a bad driver, just somebody that didn't
adapt well to stock car racing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, why is that? Why is that to you?
I just didn't think he did well on ovals. Kind of like, I mean, Montoya did well, like we said, but I just didn't think that Robbie Gordon was somebody that really cut it all the way.
Right.
I mean, 396 races over 19 years, and his best points finish was 16th, and that was 2003. Somebody that, I don't know, didn't really see cutting it. Another road course guy who, I'm not going to say just strictly belongs in doing off-roading and all that other stuff, because there's nothing wrong with people coming to NASCAR and giving it a shot at things.
Right.
Somebody that didn't really fare well, I guess I could say. I guess that would be a good word to say, fare well. Not all in one word, but fare well. I understood
what you meant there, Preston. It's okay.
I'm having a hard time trying to explain it very well. Just growing up, Robbie Gordon was just somebody that I always thought never really cut it very well.
Right. Well,
and I'm not saying I hate him either. I don't hate him.
No. Well, he replaced the injured Mike Skinner in 2001 in a Richard Childress car after Mike Skinner got in the wreck at Chicagoland, and went on to win one race with Richard Childress, which kind of helped him out at the end of the year after the death of Dale Earnhardt. Helped him kind of say, we can keep doing this, move on, after Kevin Harvick just dominated that year in that 29 car. Not dominated, but he ran very decent with the win in Atlanta and win in Chicagoland, ironically enough. But at the same time, does he have a stellar highlight career? No, but he's one of those drivers like a Tony Stewart where he could get in anything and race it. He raced IndyCar, he raced off-road trucks and raced NASCAR, and it takes a lot of skill to race anything like that. And he just likes to race. He doesn't care about the fame and stuff. He just wants to go out there and race. He's had a few run-ins with drivers throughout the years, mainly another individual on your list, Michael Waltrip, and I believe the 2005 New Hampshire race where he threw the helmet at him, and he said, Michael Waltrip, yeah, I can't say it on air. But at the same time, it was really fun watching Robbie Gordon race because he had that burning passion to go out there and do the best he can. Maybe not the best equipment, but at the same time, he went out there and didn't care who was in his way. He was going to race the way he wanted to race and go get it. And I can't say that really about any other driver on my list, but I can say that I can make the argument for everybody on your list so far that they've gone out there and at least won cup races.
Yeah, you can.
And you can't say that about anybody on my list. Carl Long, gosh, who? This poor guy just couldn't hack it. But at the same time, it's your list. Hey, you want to put Robbie Gordon on there, a IndyCar driver, a guy who's done a lot of things in this world of auto racing on there? Hey, man, that's on you. That's okay. It's quite okay, Preston.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, boy. Okay, my fifth and final one was 2001 Rookie of the Year contender, was labeled as the next Jeff Gordon when he was coming up through that Ray Abraham garage. His first race was in the 2000 Chevy Monte Carlo 400, and his last race came in the 2003 Brickyard 400. like I said, labeled the next Jeff Gordon. 75 races in 4 years. 2 did not qualify. His first one coming in his rookie year in Atlanta, and his last one coming in 2006 at Homestead. Casey Atwood.
Ooh.
You remember that name?
I do remember Casey Atwood.
He was going to be the next big thing. I remember watching the 2001 Daytona 500, and they said, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy knows what he's talking about, and he's going to be big things in NASCAR. Watch out, people. He's going to win championships. False. He didn't win a thing in NASCAR. Average finish of 27 in those 2 years of racing. By far one of the better qualified guys on my list, but at the same time, he just kind of floated away. Casey Atwood just kind of
float away.
And
that's a good one.
That's one of those guys I wish he would have done well.
Yeah.
Real, I mean, like Atwood. I wish he would have done well.
I had a couple of Casey Atwood diecast cars, little small ones.
Yeah, man.
Years and years ago.
But Casey, who cares? Casey Atwood, man. But he was teammates with Bill Elliott, and that was a big thing. This kid coming in with the veteran Bill Elliott coming in. These two are going to be an awesome team for Ray Evernham, and they just weren't. They just weren't, especially for the first year of Evernham's Motorsports. They just didn't do well. But that's my list, man. Now, I'm curious. I can't wait to hear your number 5. Oh, it's probably going to be something like, oh, Richard Petty, or he could have won 8 championships.
No.
Okay.
I did debate Kyle Petty.
Okay. Kyle had a run there with
but Kyle did decent
the early
in
90s.
the sport.
In the early 90s.
In the early 90s, and he kind of, I wouldn't say fell off, but I debated him and like the likes of like Morgan Shepherd, who's just kind of been there.
But he's won races too.
He's won races, but that was early on.
Okay.
So I debated on it a little bit, and I went with, I feel like you're not going to like this one either, Jimmy Spencer.
What? I cannot believe you went with Jimmy Spencer. Mr. Excitement.
Yes, Mr. Excitement, I understand.
My first known rivalry in NASCAR that I can remember was him and Kurt Busch.
Mr. Excitement, yep.
He was won races.
2 wins
in
the Cup Series.
And I actually met his daughter once while she was down here on vacation with her family, and her son wanted to look at the fire engine or fire truck. I think it was it was a truck. It was a tower. And I said, yeah, where are you guys from? And she said, North Carolina. And said, oh, I used to live there, And she said, oh, my dad used to race in NASCAR. But who? It's like, yo, you probably won't know him. Well, try me. And it was Jimmy Spencer. Oh, no way. Jimmy Spencer.
Really?
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh. And she was kind of embarrassed. I was like, man, he had a good run with Kurt Busch there for a while. I was like, that really embarrassed our family. He's like, really?
Wow.
Because he hit Kurt Busch, but at the same time, Jimmy Spencer being on that list, what do you got there? 2 wins?
2 wins, 80 top 10s.
In the Cup Series, again, you put everybody in there with wins. My average finish was about 27th. Carl Long didn't even qualify for 74% of the races he raced in. And you want to say Jimmy Spencer.
I'm here for controversy. I told you.
No, you're not. You're not Eric Bischoff. There's no need. Controversy doesn't create cash here.
I'm not Vince Russo either.
But at the same time,
I went with guys that I remember racing that I didn't think cut it very well. And yes, Jimmy Spencer has 2 wins at restrictor plates. I almost put David Reagan on that list, but he caught a lot of bad breaks too.
Well, he's done great.
He has done great.
And I met him once.
David Reagan's a very nice guy. Don't hate me, David. So, yes, Jimmy Spencer, 478 races in the Cup Series over 18 years. Best finish points-wise, 12 in 93. Just somebody else that I thought didn't cut it. He's a likable guy. I'm just looking at his career in general, what I grew up watching. Didn't really think he cut it very well either.
All right.
And I almost put Kyle Petty in that list as well. Because on the back end, like you said, he had a lot of success in the early 90s. I don't remember a whole lot because I was like 2.
Right.
But in the early 2000s, it was like Kyle Petty was like, oh, man, that guy's really struggling a lot.
No, in the
missing some things.
Oh, yeah. Well, his son just died.
Yeah.
Petty and Price were just going through that weird transition where they were going to Dodge. There's a lot going on. There was a lot going on there.
A lot of matters. But, yes, that is my top 5 list.
All right, that was my top 5, too. Let's turn it to the guys. They're watching the live stream. What do we got? 3 going on here right now?
Stone said he's surprised that Jimmy Johnson didn't make my list.
Wow.
I was not a big fan of Jimmy Johnson for the longest time.
What are you talking about? Jimmy Johnson was so much fun to watch. This isn't our top 5. This is our not top 5.
Yeah, I know.
Jimmy Johnson would have made your list? Really?
No, he wouldn't have. Stone's just trying to stir the pot. Because I was not a big fan of Johnson for the longest time.
Got it.
So, let's see what else we got here.
Yeah, any other live stream Q&A stuff before we get going here? We need a...
High Low says they think I'm just poking the bear.
No, you are. You're 100% poking the bear. You know what you're doing.
I just read a comment from Brian that said he can't wait for me to squint and read these comments.
Oh, okay, well, we'll fix that. Again, this is our first time doing this, and we appreciate everybody's patience on this.
High Low said a tables and chairs match is coming up as well. So
I don't think it's going to get that crazy here.
No, not yet. But I don't think I. Ooh. High Low says I also don't like guys with sponsors. Yikes. Whoa. I don't think anybody else has anything else.
All right. Well, that was fun. And again, we're just filling time before we start getting ready for Speed Weeks here. It's going to be a lot of fun coming up.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and take a break here and get ready for our final thoughts, but not before this ad read from Fanatics and a few plugs from the Unhinged Sports Network. This is In the Marbles, and we'll be right back after this. Hey, race fans, want more In the Marbles content? Make sure to subscribe below and check out our videos over here